Hello friends, welcome back for a new session on statistical consideration in design. In this session, we will see what is the importance of statistical analysis for a design engineer. As we know that it is very difficult to manufacture the component of identical size. So, it is very important for a design engineer to know statistical analysis to confirm the quality of product and to avoid the variation. Generally, variation is due to the material change, or maybe due to the manufacturing process change, or maybe due to the handling of the operator, or we can say it is the inspection process. If there is some variation, it will also affect on the quality of product. So statistical analysis, it is very important for a design engineer. Here are the content of the session. Types of causes of variation. What is meant by statistical analysis? What is frequency distribution? What is standard deviation? What is normal distribution curve and standard normal distribution curve? So type of causes for variation. Basically there are two types of causes which will create a variation in the product or maybe in the sizes of the product. First is the assignable causes. As we discussed, changes in the material. Change in the material, it will also affect on the quality, or it will create a variation. Second thing, any differences in manufacturing process, any changes in the manufacturing process, it will again one cause of variation. Third one, what is the inspection process, or how operator handle the inspection process or inspection tools, it will also create a variation in the measurement. So that is also one cause of variation in the component. Next is the chance causes. Assignable causes, we can avoid that, but sometimes some unknown parameter which will create a variation in the measurement, and it is very difficult to trace. In that case, how the analysis is done, that is we see actually in the statistical analysis, that is a chance causes. Basically statistical analysis, when we talking about the statistical analysis, three parameters which are very important for this, that is the population, next is the sample, and last one is the random variable. What is mean by population? Population means whatever the group of component or element we take for analysis, that is called as population. So total observation, total reading, when we consider for analysis, then the population is very large, or the group of components or elements, they are very large in size. In that case, instead of taking the total population, total observation for analysis purpose, we take some part of it, that is called as sampling or sample. Small portion of population selected randomly for taking the observation, that is called as basically sample. Third is random variable. Sometimes we study the characteristic of the component like length, diameter, its strength, or maybe some mechanical properties. In that case, in the population or sample, it is called as random variable. So these are the three terms which is a very important, or we frequently see in the statistical analysis. Next is frequency distribution. When we take the number of readings, we see that few readings are frequently coming. In that case, we can say it is a frequency, means you get the same reading in for that component, then we can say the frequency, it is in terms of frequency we can write. Here is the example. See, number of newspapers sold during the last 10 days. So here is the data, 22, 20, 18, 23, 20, 25, 22, 20, 18 and 20. In this way, number of papers sold in last 10 days data is here. So when we arrange this data in terms of frequency distribution, so see here is the paper sold. So we have the data from 18 is the smaller value, up to 25, that is the bigger value. So we write that value in one column, that is total paper sold. So see here, these are the total paper sold, and in the next column we write the frequency of same paper sold. So see here, 18 papers sold 2 times. See here, 18 is here also, 18 is here also. Then 19, we haven't seen 19 in this, so the frequency is 0. Then 20 papers sold 4 times, so frequency is 4. Then 21 again, there is no 21 value in this, so it is 0. 22 again, it is 2 times here, 22 and 22. 23, it is only 1 time, so frequency is 1. 24 is again 0, and 25 it is come again 1. So in this way we arrange the data in frequency distribution. So paper sold and frequency. Group of frequency distribution. So again we arrange the data in this way, or we can make the classes. So here is the class actually. So 15 to 19 we make one class. How many papers sold in this class. Then second class from 20 to 24, and the next class is 25 to 29. So again in this we can write how many papers sold. Again the class of frequency is also there. So in this way we can arrange the data in frequency distribution, so which is very easy for further study. So which are the types or methods of frequency distribution? Here we see histogram. This is one method of frequency distribution. In this we making the histogram, or we can say it is a set of rectangles. See here, it is a set of rectangle according to again frequency. So here we take again one example. We have the temperature of 50 cities. So when we take the total of this, that will come 50. So we take the temperature of 50 cities, and again class frequency versus class boundaries we locate here. So see here, this is we arrange in class. So 99.5 to 104.5. So for 2 cities we get the temperature in this class. In the same manner, for 104.5 to 109.5 for this class, or in this range basically, we get the temperature of 8 cities. In this way we generally arrange the data. Same we show in the graphical form, we can say, which is easy to understand or easy to explain. So it is very easy when we make the histogram of frequency distribution for easy understanding or for easy presentation. Second, frequency polygon. In the frequency polygon again we take the middle value. See here, we take the midpoint. We take the midpoint of this. Here is our histogram, and in the frequency polygon, this is our class. We take the midpoint, and frequency already we have this reading, and we join this midpoint, nothing else. We join this midpoint and we get the data again in frequency polygon for easy understanding and for easy presentation. So in this way we can easily arrange the data for analysis purpose. Next is when we talking about the frequency distribution, which are in the frequency distribution, that is a central value or whatever the variation or spread. So first we talking about the central tendency or central value, and when we calculate the central value, there are the three method by which we generally calculate or measure the central value. First is the arithmetic mean, and how we calculate the arithmetic mean, we take the summation of all the observation, all your reading, divided by total number of observation, and from this we directly get the arithmetic mean. And suppose same observation coming many times, so we can locate in the set of frequencies. So frequency occurrence, again from this we calculate the arithmetic mean. Again the formula is same, only frequency is multiplied with our observation, and this is the total number of frequency, or same, it is the number of observation, it is same. The total number of summation of frequencies, it is nothing but number of observation. Second thing, to calculate the central value, that is the median. That measure is median. In the median, generally we take the middle value. Suppose there are odd readings, then we take the middle value for median, and suppose there are even observations, then we take the middle observation, and we take the average of that, that is called as median. Mode is nothing but the observation which are most frequently coming, that is we consider as a mode. So in this way we measure the central value or central tendency. We see in detail in the next slide. So central value, as we discuss, generally we take a mean value. So whatever the total observation, it is around it. So 50% observation on one side we can say, and 50% observation or readings on the other side of the mean. So here in the curve, we see in the bell shaped curve, 50% observation, it is on one side, on the left side of mean, median or mode, and 50% observation on right side. So we can easily plot whatever our observation or population under the graph, that is a bell shaped graph. Next, see here how we calculate the median. We already see the formula for arithmetic mean. Then in median we take the middle value that separates the higher half from the lower half of the data set. See here, this is the data 11, 4, 9, 7, 10, 5, 6. So order the data in the ascending or maybe in the descending order, and we take the middle value as this is the odd reading, so we directly get the middle value here. See here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 and 11. So we remove 4, we remove 11, we remove 5, we remove 10, we remove 6, we remove 9, and only one central value we get, that is 7. And suppose there are even readings or even observations. So here are the even observations. See here, we arrange the data in the ascending or maybe in the descending order, and we take the middle value. See here, in the even observation we get 2 middle value, then we take the average of that, that is called as median. Then what is mode? Most frequently value is the in data set, that is mode. Now this is our observation 2, 6, 3, 9, 5, 6, 2, 6. Now frequency of 6 in this case it is more. See here, it is 3 times, so we can directly take our mode is as a 6. So in this way we generally select the central value by these 3 measures. So same as we discuss. So how we calculate the mean? Generally we calculate the arithmetic mean, which is we are very closer to the middle value, we can see. So here is again one example we take. The height of kids at the shoulders are up to the shoulders or at the shoulders is 600 mm, 470 mm, 170 mm, 430 mm and 300 mm. We arrange that data in a sequence or maybe in the graph. Now we calculate the mean value. So we take the summation of all our observations CM and divide by number of observations. So number of observations are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So n is 5 and total summation of all observation is 1970. So our mean is 394. So we locate 394 here. So we can say from this that 50% population it is on this side and 50% it is on other side of the mean value. Next is the variance. And why variance is required? Because we have to calculate the standard deviation, and standard deviation is nothing but it is the square root of variance. And how we calculate the variance? So here is the simple formula: summation of all our observations. So xi is nothing but our observation minus our mean divided by n minus 1. N is nothing but number of observation minus 1, and square root of variance, it is nothing but standard deviation. And as we discussed already, standard deviation is very important for frequency distribution or for our statistical analysis. We see in the upcoming slide why it is important. So see here how we calculate the variance or standard deviation. So see here again the same example. We have the 5 readings of our kids height. So 170, 300, 430, 470 and 600. And when we calculate the variance, so variance basically it will show us the reading of whatever the difference from mean value to our each observation. So see here, minus 224 square is nothing but it is the difference from 170 to 394. So on the left side we consider what is the difference, it is minus. On right side it is plus, and divided by total number of observation. So here we get the variance, it is 21704. And when we calculate the standard deviation, as we know, standard deviation is nothing but it is the square root of variance. So our variance is 21704 and our standard deviation is 147. So what is actually a standard deviation? In this, standard deviation is a measure of how each value in the data set in our total population deviates from the mean value. In the simple way we can say standard deviation is measure of how each value in the data set deviates from the mean value. It measures the concentrated the data are around the mean value. If the standard deviation is less or smaller, our data is very closer to the central value or mean value, and which is really good for our analysis purpose. Or maybe variation is less or variance is less, we can say. So our acceptance level of the component is increases. So again one more term, that is normal distribution curve. What is normal distribution curve? So we basically arrange our total population under one curve, and whatever the spread of our observation, that is symmetrical, we arrange under one curve, that is called as normal distribution curve. So see here, as we discuss, this is a bell curve, and under the bell curve we see a normal distribution of all our population. So this is our population and here is the frequency, and here we can take the example things close to normal distribution. So we can arrange any data like heights of people, size of things produced in by machine, errors in the measurement, blood pressure or mark in test. So any data, any observation we can arrange under this normal distribution curve. So see here how the normal distribution curve and how we put the total population under this. So see here when your sigma, it is plus minus, or we can say standard deviation is 1. In that case our acceptance percentage, it is 68% of value are within. See here whatever our population, when we consider only sigma plus minus sigma, in that case our acceptance percentage, it is 68% in this roughly we can say. So that is the actually the importance of normal distribution curve. And when we consider two standard deviations, so 2 sigma plus minus sigma, so our acceptance percentage, it is up to 95%. See here. And when we consider 3 standard deviation, means plus minus 3 standard deviations, so we can say in the it is a 6 sigma. So in that case our acceptance percentage, it is up to 99.73. So when we talking about the normal distribution curve, there are 2 types basically: random normal distribution curve, and second thing is the standard normal distribution curve. In the normal distribution curve, whatever our observation or whatever our readings, so random variable as we consider for calculation purpose in this, that is x, as we consider each observation or each reading as x, that is the random variable. Frequency versus this random variable we plot under the curve, and area under the curve, it is equal to n. Capital N means it is number of population or number of reading. So under this bell shape, this is our mean position, this is our mean, and 50% population it is on this side, left side, and 50% population on right side. And basically we locate the data under normal distribution curve, random normal distribution curve. It is whatever our observation versus frequency. Now what is standard normal distribution curve in that case? So standard normal distribution curve, in this actually our random variable we convert into standard variable, that is z, and when we calculate the z value, it is by this formula, that is our random variable minus our mean divided by standard deviation, and we convert our total data under the standard normal distribution curve. And in this standard normal distribution curve, the mean is equal to 0. So we consider in this standard normal distribution curve, our mean is 0, and total observation from the mean, 50% observation on this side and 50% observation on the other side, or we can say right side. And area under this curve, in the area under the standard normal distribution curve, it is we consider as 1. 1 means we consider as 100%, and so we can say 50% component again on this side or 50% on this side. But why we consider this basically? Basically 1 means we consider again 100%, and sometimes what happen, we can locate here the total data is here, and from this we can easily calculate the rejection percentage. Suppose we have this reading as minus 1.32, and somewhere on this side it is the reading as 1.5. So by standard normal distribution curve we can easily calculate, and we can say whatever the data in this zone it is accepted, and whatever the data on this side, on this zone, it is rejected zone. From this we can easily locate the data and we can easily calculate the rejection percentage. So that is basically the significance of standard normal distribution curve. Here we can easily standardize the data. So see here, this is our standard deviation, or we can say random normal distribution curve. Here is the variable is x, and we convert this variable in terms of z. We calculate the z value from x. Basically we standardize the data in standard normal distribution curve which is available to us. So each data value for normal distribution is random variable is x, and we can convert that data into z score, or that is a standard variable, that is z. See here, our mean is 0 and our data is very on both the side of mean. Basically we can standardize the data in standard normal distribution curve. In simple way we can say, use the standard normal table to find the cumulative area under the standard normal distribution curve. So there is a standard table available for z variable. Suppose we get some data, or we can find out the rejection percentage. So whatever the z value, it is available in standard normal distribution table, and from that value we can easily calculate the rejection percentage or acceptance percentage, or we can say in simple manner how many components are accepted of total components. From this standard normal distribution curve we can see basically how we can get that value. We see in the upcoming session in detail all this. Thank you.